Hey y'all, I'm Lucid Faith, and today we get to talk about my first impressions on Temtem. Let's dive in. Alright y'all, jumping right in to the tamer customization. I loved all of the options they had with the backpacks, the shirts, the tops, the hair, pants, and how you could change up all of the colors. Yes, it wasn't as in-depth as some of the other character creators out there. It is pretty basic when compared to those, but there is plenty here to get the job done. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the character I made, and special shout out to Crema for including a pronoun selector rather than a gender selection. Really progressive. I like that a lot. Nice touch. One of the things I loved about Temtem when I first started playing it that I didn't realize before was you're not a silent protagonist in this game like in Pokemon. You get dialogue choices. You get actual side quests. That's amazing. And I love that how they brought that aspect into this genre of game from an MMO that I wasn't really expecting, but I absolutely love. Hold techniques are one of the more interesting, unique mechanics to Temtem. Now, what this does is that there's sub techniques that won't be ready until after a certain number of turns have passed. You can tell how many turns each move needs based on the number of darkened bars that are next to the larger filled in bar. For example, you see that Hypnosis and Psywave have an extra bar, but Kick does not. Those extra darkened bars represent one turn that needs to pass. After the amount of turns have passed, those bars will lighten up, saying, hey, you can use this now. After you use it, the bars will then reset, and you have to wait the amount of time to hold again to reuse that technique. A large difference from Pokemon in terms of mechanics is the way that raised and lowered stats will work in this game. Now in Pokemon, if you can raise and lower their stats, but if you switch the Pokemon out of the battle, those stats reset, right? And that is a core mechanic, something you have to keep in mind, especially in competitive. Now here is a very important note. In Temtem, the stats won't be affected by switching the Temtem, but they will be moved when the battle is over. So you can throw a Temtem in, buff it up, then recall it, and when you throw it back out, it still has those same buffs in that battle. Really important to keep in mind. Another more MMO-ish like mechanic is how they handle XP in this game. Your Temtem's levels will affect the amount of XP they gain when they're in battle. If you have a high level Temtem and a lower level Temtem, the higher level Temtem will receive less XP. The game tells you it's better to have a balanced team to increase your experience gained. This is amazing. It encourages you to actually have a team of Temtems to handle any situation you need, rather than just having one strong thing to blast through everyone. I think it's actually a great design. On to status ailments, or in this game, status conditions. Another large change from Pokemon is that each Temtem can have 2 statuses at the same time. If a new status is inflicted while having to, the older one will be removed and a new one will be added. So in my time, I inflicted sleep on a Temtem, and then I inflicted poison, thinking the poison wouldn't wake it up. Pro tip, poison damage will wake up a sleep Temtem, but it's cool that they can stack. On to catching the Temtem, one of the most important aspects of this game. Quick note, if you're in a double battle with 2 wild Temtem, you can catch both of them. I know in some monster catching games, if multiple monsters are on the field, you have to take one out and leave one by itself. Not the case in Temtem. You can catch both of them. Then once you catch your Temtem, I really like how it shows the SVs for the Temtem right off the bat. Those are going to be like the IVs in Pokemon. And then in addition to that, I actually enjoy a lot of the stats and how they're displayed in this game. Like in the Tempedia, and how you can view all of the Temtem there, and how it shows all of their traits as well, basically like their abilities and what the possible ones that they can have. I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing it's just, I really like the UI of this game. It is very well done. It's very pleasing to the eye, and it's really easy to navigate, very intuitive. Now onto one of the more unique aspects of Temtem, and that's the stamina system. Now, just to give a brief overview of the stamina system, these are the blue bars underneath the health on screen. Now, what these are basically a pool of points which you can use to execute your techniques. If you run out of stamina, you become overexerted, you lose, that Temtem will lose a turn in combat, and they could take damage from doing that. Now, the system itself is displayed very well. Whenever you mouse over a move, it shows how much stamina will be taken away and if health will be taken away. Those are the flashing bits. I also really like how you can actually see your opponent's stamina, so you can take that into account as well. And the thing about the stamina system is that it's engaging. From the moment you start playing, it is an intrinsic part of battle that you have to think about and you have to account for. And I love it so much more than the PowerPoint system in Pokemon, because the PowerPoint system was very passive and it honestly didn't matter 99% of the time. And the stamina system is the complete and utter opposite in every positive way possible. Great change, great addition. Now, on to something that is a bit more trivial, but I wanted to bring up, and that is, what is the Temtem equivalent of a Pokemon Center? And that is what is called a Temporium. The reason I bring this up is when I was first playing the stress test, my first thought is, okay, where do I heal my Temtem? Where do I go? And as far as I could tell, when I searched in that first town you're in, there is not a Temporium there. You actually have to press on through some of this first route or trail, and you come to what's called a mini Temporium that you can use to heal your Temtem. You can access basically a PC box to store your Temtem, and there's also a small market there as well. Again, kind of trivial, but I did want to point that out. Getting past all of the general mechanics, taking a more broad view of Temtem, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my hour and a half in the stress test, even with all of the issues the servers were having. There were many load issues and lag here and there, but the gameplay was good. It was engaging, it was fun. The graphics I really like, they pop off the screen. And something else that I appreciated was the AI. The overall difficulty of the game was a bit higher than Pokemon. This game doesn't hold your hand as much as Pokemon game would. And I liked, even in the first trail of the game, the NPC trainers that you fought progressively got stronger. They didn't just all have level 2 Temtem. They actually started having varied teams as you walked through this very first trail, and it was a great start to the game. This is something that I am super, super excited about. Alright y'all, that was my first impression of Temtem, and I loved it. I do. I'm excited for it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Again, I am Lucid Faith. I do stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/LucidFaith. I do stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you want to drop one by, say hi. I would love to talk to you about Temtem or whatever else you want to talk about, gaming or otherwise. Y'all, that's it for me, but I want to remind each and every one of you that you matter. I'll see you next time, y'all. Bye for now.